In the last hour, the Prime Minister spoke about recognizing a Palestinian state at the Council on Foreign Relations in New York.
We're under no illusions that this is any sort of panacea, but it's necessary in our judgment, and the judgment of most other countries in the world, that we have to push on this now because, as I say, the possibility in absolute violation of the UN Charter and an absolute violation of international law of self-determination for the Palestinian peoples is being erased. So we're doing what we can, but recognizing the limitations.
Let's bring in the CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian. He's live in Ottawa. So Rafi, what else did the Prime Minister say when he was talking about the recognition of a Palestinian state?
Andrew, he was asked about the preconditions that the Canadian government has put forth with regards to this recognition. Preconditions we've heard about since July, when the Prime Minister first announced its intention to recognize a Palestinian state. Conditions like how Hamas can have no part in such a future government. The necessity for governance reforms with the Palestinian Authority that administers the West Bank. And I was interested in hearing his answer to how he hopes these preconditions are met. We didn't hear the exact question he was asked about this because it came from the internet, and we in the audience just did not have the audio feed to listen to the wording of the question, but let's listen to what Carney said.
The disarmament and elimination of Hamas as a force, certainly as a political force, military force first and political force, is one of the conditions for a sustained cessation of hostilities and peace. And when you say who is going to do that, there are many proposals, as I suspect you're aware, from a variety of Arab states, combination of Arab states and European states, to which Canada would be party if they were to come to pass, for multinational forces to be deployed in Palestine to enforce a peace and to drive that process forward. So I think the first part of your question I deal with directly that way. The conditions for a free and fair election in Palestine are many, and the time in order to get to that spot is uncertain.
I'd certainly never heard the Prime Minister mention the idea of Canadian forces being sent to keep the peace before. If he had said something like this, it certainly had not gotten a lot of attention, but that quite stood out to me. I'm curious to see if he will kind of allude to those comments when he speaks later this afternoon before the General Assembly.
Yeah, you're right, Rafi. That would be interesting to hear more on that. What else stood out for you in the Prime Minister's remarks earlier this afternoon?
Well, turning more to domestic politics, he was also asked by a member of the audience about the Major Projects Office he has recently announced and the timing for future announcements on these projects. And we got a little bit of clarity from the Prime Minister on that front. He said that we should expect more projects to be announced roughly every 4 months for the next 2 years, and that's something we had not heard before. Now, the government had previously said that we should expect the next of these nation-building projects to be announced right before the Grey Cup, which is mid-November. So that does match the 4-month interval. We just had not heard before that this will be something kind of regular for the next couple of years. So that was new, and also, raises more questions about exactly what happens once these projects are sent to the Major Projects Office, because that's, of course, only one part of this whole process, right? The Major Projects Office then has to sign off on them, and then they have to go through a final approval before they see the light of day. So we, of course, know the first series of these include that expansion of the liquefied natural gas terminal in Kitimat, BC. We know they also include the expansion of the Port of Montreal, but now we know to expect several of them for the next 2 years.
Rafi, thank you. The CBC's Rafi Boudjikanian live in Ottawa.